I have recently attended a FEMA training. FEMA stands for Federal Emergency Management Agency. Perfect timing since I've been getting a lot of questions lately about flooding here in the greater Houston area. Questions like, what is my flood zone? How to find out if a property has flooded before? Do I need flood insurance? This is a timely topic since hurricane season is here. I want to share what I've learned with you. So let's start right now. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I talk about all things real estate, neighborhood tours, and tips that are useful to first-time home buyers, experienced home buyers, home sellers, landlords, and renters who are looking to relocate here in the greater Houston area. Watch till the end of the video as I will provide you a free gift, my Hurricane Preparedness Kit. Before we start, a disclaimer that the video is for educational and informational purposes only. I do not work for FEMA, I'm not a flood expert, nor I am a licensed insurance provider. Contact your insurance provider if you have additional questions regarding your coverage and to confirm your respective flood zones. Let us now dive into our questions for the day. Do you know that just 1 inch of water can cause $25,000 worth of damage to a home? Do you know that homeowners' insurance policies typically do not cover floods? Floods can result from storms, melting snow, hurricanes, drainage system backups, broken water mains, changes to land due to new construction, and many more. So it is really crucial to get a better understanding on the flood zone of your property and why it is wise to purchase flood insurance. Question number 1. What is my flood zone? I get this question all the time. There are most likely 3 options that you can use to determine your flood zone. First option is to check the FEMA website. Again, FEMA stands for Federal Emergency Management Agency. They have a tool that you can use, and all you need to do is to plug in the property, particularly the location address. Second option is to contact your realtor or real estate agent. They have a tool that they use to most likely know and determine if the property is in a flood zone. I will show you that tool shortly. I will also share another exciting diagnostic tool that you can access for free. So stick around and watch till the end. Third option is to contact your home insurance provider. They will be able to assist you and provide you details as to the flood zone of the property.
Okay, the way the realtors know, particularly a flood zone of a property, is they go to www.hr.com, and this is our members portal. And what we do is we go to our matrix. Okay, from here, I'll give you a sample address of a particular property that is zoned in flood zone X. So let's say we have Lillian's. Say Lillian. Let's see. Okay, so I'll click one of them. Example for this. Okay, this is the property. And we have several tabs here. And what we usually do is we just click the flood map. Then from there, it will give us the flood zone code. Obviously, it's X. The flood zone date, June 9, 2014. The flood zone panel. Flood zone description just says flood zone X, an area that is determined to be outside the 100 and 500 year floodplains. It will also say the SFHA, the one that I'm telling you about, the special flood hazard area. It means it's out of the flood zone. And is it within 250 feet of multiple flood zone? It says no. Flood community name, Houston. So this is very useful. As you can see, not necessarily with X that, oh, you'll not flood, but it's least likely to flood. And another special tool that I am wanting to share to you is flood factor. You can access this yourself for free because in this particular system, you need to have a realtor to help you. But flood factor, all you need to do is go to www.floodfactor.com. It's a new tool, but as I said, it will help you assess a property if it's in a flood zone or not. But don't rely on it too much because there are times that it's not correct. Okay, but at least it gives you information about it. Example, let's type that same address and see what's the flood factor for this property. Okay, and this is what we wanted, like a 1 out of 10 minimal flood factor. The lower the score, the better, right? But it can only go as low as 1. That's it. And in here, you'll see it confirms our finding that it is indeed in FEMA zone, flood zone X. And flood insurance, it's not required but recommended. Okay, let's check this I here information. It says here FEMA flood maps, which are based on historic flood patterns and do not consider environmental changes, are used to determine flood insurance requirements. As estimated by Massive CERT, this property is in FEMA Zone X, which means that flood insurance is recommended but not required. And you can also click this link here to learn more about flood insurance, the cost and coverage. Let's get another sample of a property. Okay. Let's get one that is in a flood zone, a high risk flood zone or a special flood hazard area. For example, let's get this. Let's see what's the flood map for this property. Okay, I just click, it's already defaulted to that. So as you can see here, the flood zone code here is AE. That's a high risk flood zone. And flood zone date also the same year, 2014, with a flood zone panel, and says it's an area inundated by 100-year flooding. And special flood hazard area, yes, it is in. Is it within 250 feet of multiple flood zone? No. And flood community name is in Houston. So as you can see, all these purple thing, it will show you it's in a 100-year floodplain. And this darker area here, it means it's in a 100-year floodway. Okay, these are the color-coded thing that you could see and check if it's in the flood zone or not. And let's check it again in the flood factor and see. Let's type that same address. Let's see the flood factor amount. Okay, it says here 3 out of 10. So it's moderate flood factor. And obviously, if you kind of look at it here, FEMA zone, which also verifies our finding, is in flood zone AE. Flood insurance is required. So it just means here, let's look at that I. Obviously, it just says flood insurance is required, meaning if you get a mortgage, if you plan to buy a property with an improvement on it, and if you plan to get a loan, example, FHA loan, conventional loan, or even VA loan, flood insurance will be required. So on top of your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance or mortgage insurance, flood insurance will be added to that. You can see how the consideration as far as payment of your monthly mortgage. And what I like about this system and flood factor, besides showing you, it will show you the entire summary. So you can, all you need to do is scroll all the way down and check your, the information here. And it has its projections as well. And at the same time, some maps. And this is what I like about this tool, like flood depth explained. Even a little flooding can damage a building. So let's say less than 6 inches. Look at that. It will damage your wood floor, carpets, drywall. And if you click 6 inches to a feet, it will also show what possible items will be damaged. And in here, 1 to 2 feet, it's getting more and more. Furnaces, most trucks unable to drive. And the highest one, 3+ feet, cars are afloat. Large appliances, electrical, water supply, sewage, plumbing, everything, almost the entire structure. But I'm not saying this is a reliable tool, but I'm not saying this is an accurate tool. That's why I said it's also better to consult your insurance provider. One sample here is, let's see this property. I'm curious because I know we have offered on this property before and did not, because we find out that it flooded 4 times based on the claims history. So let's see. Okay, this property here. Let's see if I can pull the flood map. Obviously, it's AE. It's also inundated by the 100-year flooding, and it's in, and yes, within 250 feet of multiple flood zone. It's yes. Means the probability of getting flooded is higher, right? Because it's AE, and plus it's within 250 feet of multiple flood zone. And the county name here is, or the community name here is Montgomery County. Let's verify it here in flood factor by just typing that in. Let's see what the score is. Okay, this is kind of a bit shocking to me. It says minimal flood factor is 1 out of 10, 29631, and if FEMA zone says AE, but flood insurance is required. I'm thinking this is erroneous because this property flooded 4 times per the flood history report. So I don't think this is a minimal flood factor. So this is what I'm saying. We can't rely on it. I mean, at least we have something to base on as far as the FEMA zone. You'll know what the FEMA zone is, right? Because this is correct. But the flood factor is, for me, incorrect. So put it in a grain of salt that, you have to have different avenues on kind of knowing what that property is. You really need resources like your realtor, a combination of this flood factor tool, and at the same time, your insurance provider.
Question number 2. How to find out if a property has flooded. There are 2 ways to find out. First, requesting your realtor to provide you a copy of the seller's disclosure. Usually, the listing agent will upload this document in 𝐅𝑒𝑑𝑒𝑟𝑎𝑙 and your realtor will be able to download it. If it's not available, then your realtor can request a copy of it. The sellers need to disclose this fact, but if the sellers own the home and have no knowledge of the flood, then get in touch with your insurance provider and request them to check the claims history. There are times they are not able to do this and will need an elevation certificate. I'll cover that in my next topic. Another way is for the sellers or owners to call their own insurance provider and request to run a CLUE report of the property. CLUE stands for Comprehensive Loss Underwriting Evaluation. It will provide claims history up to 7 years. Only the owner of the property or the insurer can request the CLUE report. Lastly, do I need flood insurance? As stated previously, homeowners' insurance policies do not cover flood. If a property is in a special flood hazard area, or what they call SFHA or high-risk flood area, then lenders must require the buyers to purchase a flood insurance as a condition of their mortgage loan. Flood insurance can help with the recovery regardless of whether there is a presidential disaster declaration. In the event of flood, federal disaster assistance such as FEMA, including federally funded grants or loans from the U.S. Small Business Administration, offers very limited help following a flood loss. Such assistance is only available when there is an official presidential disaster declaration. Flooding can happen anywhere and at any time. In order to protect your properties from flood damage, I highly recommend to purchase a flood insurance, most especially if you know if your property is located in an SFHA or special flood hazard area. If you have learned something new today, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to keep you updated on my upcoming videos. Of course, do not forget to press that like button too. As promised, you can download my hurricane preparedness kit by scrolling down in my description below. Again, this is Jennifer Yoingco. You are my priority for anything real estate. Your guide to Greater Houston real estate living. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to be part of my insider real estate tips and secret. Hit the like and notification bell to receive up-to-the-minute videos every Tuesday.